Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Four Roads Out of Warba podcast featuring the Warba Shop Quartet. This week on the big badonkadonk bottom end bass, we have Bort.
Howdy.
And on the clicky clackety tap tap drums and also does an amazing triangle solo, we have Doodoo. On the chunky chunky funky monkey rhythm guitar, we have Bob.
Sounds like an awesome.
And I will be taking over duties on the noodly ding dong doodly lee guitar. I'm your host, Tippy Tater Alligator, for this week.
Who's the vocalist?
I don't know. I don't think any of us can really sing, so we might have to hire out.
I agree.
I was a concert choir in high school. I sang in front of 2,000 people once.
Well, if you want to assume that responsibility, that's on you.
No, I don't.
I was in choir until I told my choir teacher he sang like an old dead horse. So that was the end of my choir days.
Okay. Well, this week we are all doing our top 10 playlists. And before we get into it, let's just go around the circle, see how everybody's doing. Doodoo, how's your week been?
Really good, thanks. A week ago, I started a new kind of a cash job, driving people around in a taxi. Yeah, it's been fun. Tuesday, I had to cancel my hours there because I was having some health issues, but otherwise, today it was a lot of running around. In 9 hours, I ran 17 people around Grand Rapids or here, and yeah. But no, everything's going really good. Thank you.
Why did you use a vehicle instead of running them around?
Go ahead, Tippy. I'm not even going to answer.
I was going to make a rickshaw comment, but dang it, Bob.
Sorry.
All right, Bort, how about you?
I've been doing really well, and just enjoying life, and yeah, just been relaxing and hanging out, and yeah, did softball on Tuesday. We won both our games. I'm sure Bob will get into that in a second, but yeah, and I made a lot of people in a softball game hate me, which is always a lot of fun. There was a team that we were playing. They couldn't hit very well, and I figured it out, and so I was playing a rover right up the middle, and I snagged about 5 of them. That should have been beautiful hits.
Nice.
So yeah, it was fun. I like being a jerk like that.
Good.
Awesome. Bob, what you got going on?
That's been good. Busy. Really busy at work this week. And yeah, softball is good. Hurt my finger a little bit during softball, but we're back at her, so everything good.
What'd you do to your finger?
I heard it sliding into third base. I got an X-ray here. I'll show you that.
I'm sure this is gonna come out good.
Oh no.
You see it? Yeah. No, I slid and it was popped sideways, so had to go to the ER and get it popped back in. But I guess I was safe, so that was good. But yeah, so in a couple hours, I popped it back in. It was good. So yeah, and it's fine. Just I can move it and stuff. It's just gonna take a little bit to get healed up, but I'll live. Yeah, that's about it. Nothing super fancy.
Yeah, nothing really fancy for me either. Yeah, a lot more work, driving to back and forth from work. Did get to go fishing this weekend, so that was all right. There's a lake around here. It's got a fishing dock, and wasn't catching much, but a little bluegill that were only worth throwing back. But still, it was fun to pull something up on a hook. So,
How far did you fit, or how long did you fish?
few hours, definitely enough to get sunburnt. So.
Oh.
Indeed. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, this week we are doing our top 10 song playlist. Now, this can be whatever you want to put on there. It can be all-time favorites. It can be what you're currently listening to, a mix and match, just whatever you want. And I would like to get into it right away, and I would like to hear Doo-Doo's number 10 song.
All right. Well, first of all, if you don't mind, if we're doing like a mixtape, I thought, well, it's only right to name the mixtape. So the name of my tape is called "Songs to Doo-Doo By." Just in case you want to reference, but. Yeah, my number 10 is an old Charlie Pride song called "Snakes Crawl at Night." Probably I think in the late 60s, early 70s, he had this song, and it's just an old country singing till you can't sing no more song. It's pretty good. I like it a lot.
Okay. And you said Charlie Rich?
Charlie Pride.
Oh, Charlie Pride. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I think I was thinking of Super Troopers or something. Yeah.
That's fine.
Late great Charlie Rich.
Charlie Pride, he lived to be quite an old age.
Oh.
In fact, while COVID was going on, he got an award, like a Lifetime Achievement Award or something. And his son ended up saying, "No, you got to go." And he's like, "I don't want to go out with COVID." And the son's like, "Well, you should really go and thank the people and stuff." Gave him a guilt trip. He went out, got his award, came back, and a week later he was dead from COVID.
Oh,
yeah, horrible. Darn sons.
Oh, I bet he felt bad.
What?
I bet that kid felt bad. His son did.
Yeah. So there we go. That's a good positive thing to lead on to the next one.
Yeah, that's the whole thing right there. All right, Bort.
Well, if we have to name it, I'm going to be very creative and name it Bort's Personal Mixtape.
I like it.
Yep.
Number 1.
So,
Bort's Personal Mixtape number 1.
Well, it depends if we hold an episode number 2 of Personal Mixtape. By the way, I will be posting all of the crew's mixtapes up on the channel under the playlists and in the comments too, so you can listen to some amazing music when after you listen to this episode.
Good idea.
So, my first choice is, everyone knows from the Metallica episode how much I've fallen in love with symphonic metal music over the past about a decade now, a little less than a decade, but Tippy was the one who told me about the band Nightwish, and I think it's only appropriate to open my list with what I think is probably the greatest song ever written, and that's the song "Poet and the Pendulum" from can't remember what album it is right offhand. Dark Passion Play, I believe it was.
Yep.
But it is it's a 13.5-minute song of just crazy highs, lows, crazy chorus, great verse, beautiful singing. Just takes you on on a wild ride for that entire time, and it is just amazing. And 13 and a half minutes, it doesn't seem like a song that you can just sit down and listen to all the time. But I mean, I've got about 4 or 5 copies of it on my iTunes playlist from the various ones released, and I pretty much have never once skipped a song when it's come on. It's just awesome. There's no chance I'd start out my mixtape with anything but that.
Cool.
Nice. Good choice, in my personal opinion. Bob.
My first one, just gonna go with when I started getting into metal music, going back to my Metallica thing. My first album I love, my favorite Metallica album is S&M, and I love No Leaf Clover off of that. Right around when I was getting in huge into Metallica, that was kind of one of the big songs that sucked me into them. And I still, anytime I hear it, I love it. So that's got to be on there. No Leaf Clover by Metallica S&M.
Very nice. Okay, my opener is, well, on this list here, yeah, I really don't have anything in order because I pretty much love all these songs equally, but, and it was just kind of just jot them down. But I'm starting off with Outlive Them All by the band Visigoth. And this band is they're kind of a not as well-known band, I guess. They're from Salt Lake City, Utah. And I guess I would describe them as just a traditional heavy metal band. Their style is like traditional metal from like maybe the early to mid 80s, and it's just no frills, just straightforward, good, catchy songwriting. It's not overly produced, and let's see, I think they have they have 2 full-length albums and a couple EPs, but this was actually the first song, or no, it's the 3rd song I think I did on my guitar cover channel. And that was a lot of fun to learn how to play because I had to learn how to play that one completely by ear. But, and also the singer from this band is going to appear on this list 3 different times in 3 different bands. So,
Nice.
I don't know if he's really good or really bad because he keeps getting fired.
actually, they're all just his own personal projects. I mean, the guy is a multi-instrumentalist. He can do just about any type of vocals, clean, dirty vocals, just very versatile singer and good songwriter too. So that's my first one there.
I got a question.
Yep.
You said that was one of the songs you learned to play by ear. What do you do with the rest of your hands then?
Well, I think if you go to my YouTube channel, Mustard Metal Tracks, you'll see that I do not indeed play them with my ears.
Okay.
Yes, that'll be next.
But I appreciate the joke.
Wait. I didn't hear. What was your YouTube channel again? I didn't quite get that.
Called Mustard Metal Tracks.
Okay. All right.
We can probably link that YouTube channel to our YouTube channel, right, Bort?
Well, yeah, I love having extra work to do.
Good. Well, you're so good at it.
And I got to plug Mustard Metal Tracks, the #1 Hulk Hogan boot band cover artist on YouTube.
So I've been christened.
Yeah. Well, the rest of my lists are just the Hulk Hogan metal songs. So.
Okay, indeed. Enough about that. Go on to our next one. Doo-doo.
Yes, sir. I got Volbeat's song Pearl Heart. Really cool song. I really liked when they took like Old West characters and actually made songs about them. Lola Montez, Pearl Heart. There's another one, but I can't think of it. But just a cool song. She was out in a town when she got a note from her mom saying that, you know, she was dying, and she grabbed a gun and robbed a stagecoach and got some medicine and saved her mom, and just a really cool song. And that early Volbeat stuff, it hits a chord with me, because that Bob and I, like, one Thanksgiving, we were doing dishes up and just listening to listening to Volbeat, and just good memories with that early Volbeat stuff. We went to see a concert down in Wisconsin, and that's before I knew the words to the opening part of Pearl Heart. So Bob was, what was that? And I'd go, Lady
Bartlett.
yeah. But makes sense when you know the words. Good song.
Yeah, I remember when we drove down to that concert down La Crosse. It was what 4-hour drive.
Yep.
And man, we just blared Volbeat the entire way. By the time we got done with the concert, we could barely talk.
Yeah, that was a fun concert.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Mort.
Well, the second song on my list is the first of, let me see here, I think I got 3 different covers on here. But you're going to hear a name that I bet you never expected to hear on this list, and that is William Shatner.
What I think it is?
William Shatner covered a song, I can't remember the band he covered its song, but it's a song called Common People. It is an absolutely, I saw him perform this song on Jay Leno back in 2004. It is the absolute most ridiculous song I've ever heard in my life. You know, it starts out just with this campy piano, and William Shatner's doing his, you know, speaking sing style, and then it just keeps building, and then pretty soon there's this wacky tenor singing the high parts, and by the end there's a full choir going in the background. I'm going, what am I seeing here? And it is a horrible song, but it's so bad it's good. And so the reason it's number 2 is because I'm giving you the best, and now I want to see if you're worthy for the rest.
Well, that's some deep thinking.
Well, there's a lot going on in here.
Oh, I know.
I'm sitting here trying to remember the words, Jason.
Well, it's
Drink, dance, and screw, and something. Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming they're awful words. So.
There's some words you can't say, even though on the podcast, even though it's just I believe, an English word for cigarette.
Oh.
But yeah.
Yep, don't put that on YouTube. Oh, goodness. Anyway, moving on. Bob, did you give the name of your playlist?
No, I did not.
Because I know I forgot to.
Yeah. No, I didn't really have a name. I'll just say Bob's playlist. That's good.
Wow.
I know.
You put some thought into that, didn't you?
All right, everybody can take a second to put your socks back on, because I'm sure I just knocked every one of them off. So
Yeah, it's simple yet prophetic.
You know, you just stole my gimmick. I was the one doing the no thought name.
I got a perfect one. For you,
Yeah, but he did it even lazier, so I think he went up with.
All right, dude, what's your perfect name for mine?
Change mine to port music.
BBP. Bob's boring BBP. Bob's boring playlist.
That'll be number 2, because I'm just going to take your ones from number 1 and upload those to my second one. That knock was your playlist is terrible. That was my knock on that. So
Mine? Wow.
Well, you're making fun of me, so I'm trying to make fun of you.
I'm crying. I can tell.
Anyway, sorry, Tippy. Am I up now?
Yeah, you're up. Yep.
Oh, sorry. All right, number 2, Holy Wars by Megadeth. Rust in Peace, 1990. Had to have some kind of Megadeth song on there. Megadeth, I always go back and forth, different ones that I want to listen to lately. I've just been listening to Holy Wars a lot. Just one of their best songs. If you haven't heard it, listen to it. It's great.
Nice. Actually, last week, I was driving around the truck and I'd never listened to the radio and turned the radio on, and Hook and Mouth was actually playing on a northern Michigan radio station. I couldn't believe it.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
All the Megadeth songs you hear on the radio, they played that one.
Wow. I don't hear Megadeth, period, but something that
like 93X, and all they play is like the
Destruction and maybe Trust.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much.
Hey, can you guys ask you Megadeth fans? Can you answer something for me? I still really like the song "Crush 'Em." Is that like considered a decent song or not? Just kind of a joke because of the Bill Goldberg WCW tie-in.
The album, the whole album of Risk, nobody liked it. Mustaine tried to make it very radio friendly, and I don't mind the songs on there. He's got some catchy ones, but it's almost like a poppy Megadeth album. And he admitted that he made it just to try and get record sales. And that's why he did the Crush 'Em and tried to get Bill Goldberg in there, made it on a movie thing, just trying to get that commercial success that I think Metallica had gotten in the 90s.
Yeah. Tried to kind of do the same thing with Cryptic Writings, and I think Cryptic Writings was good enough as far as, you're more of your commercial orientated music.
Cryptic Writings did have some good thrash.
Risk was kind of just it didn't need to happen.
Yeah. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so the reason why I asked you if you had your album titles is because I remembered I didn't say mine either, and I just when Dudu brought that idea out, I just wrote something down quick, and I'm going to call it Metal Massacre, and in parentheses it says, this title has never been copyrighted.
Funny.
Anyways, my second song in this list is by a band called Night. And they're kind of a new-ish band. I'd say they're active starting in the 2010s, and they're from Sweden. And they kind of blur the lines between like late 70s and early 80s classic rock and heavy metal style. Well, but they do it very well, and it sounds like pretty true to the time period. And the song is called Running Away. And this is from their last album, which I believe is their fourth album. And just the entire album is absolutely amazing. Like if you're a metalhead, but you want something a little more, I wouldn't call it laid back, but it's certainly not as aggressive as a lot of modern styles, and it's really good to hear this like traditional style come back again. And I think they're one of the best bands that does it, but still has their own unique style, even though they're kind of emulating the style from a time period. So that's my second choice, Running Away by Night.
Tippy, is that Night as in N-I-G-H-T or K-N-I-G-H-T?
N-I-G-H-T.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I was put it into YouTube looking it up, and when I looked up K-N-I-G-H-T, I looked up Night Running Away, and it was linking to Monty Python, so...
Love it.
Tis merely a flesh wound.
Yes, I watched that movie recently. Okay. So let's get on to our third song now here. What do you got, dude?
There's a dude out there called Nathaniel Radcliffe and the Night Sweats. He's got a band behind him called not the Night Sweat. No, yeah, the Night Sweats. And it's a song called "I Need Never Grow Old." It's different than what I usually listen to between Grandpa's old country and Metallica and Volbeat stuff. It's just, I don't know. They're I don't know how to explain it. They're kind of like they're dressed kind of like you'd see in a Caribou coffee, drinking their little mocha latte fratas things, and talking about how Gucci stuff is with people's guitar playing. I don't know. It's really not me, but the song is really good. It's basically, I'm gonna do my best because I never need to get old, and it's very good. Check it out. That was really a bad description of the whole thing, but good song.
I'm sold.
Indeed, I'm excited to check out some of these songs I never heard before. So, thank you for that.
I know. Yeah, thanks for doing support with the video thing. That'll be really cool. The playlist thing.
Yeah, indeed, that was definitely a good idea, Bort.
What can I say?
You got stuff going on all up in here.
Broken clock twice a day.
Got it yourself. All right, speaking of Bort, what you got?
Oh my gosh. Song number 3. I'm going to go back to my symphonic metal song, and this is from a brand new album. The song is named Master the Hurricane. It is from a band by the name of Visions of Atlantis from their album entitled Pirates. It just came out a couple months ago, I think in May. It is, in my opinion, the best music album that's come out in a long time. It's a theme album. The whole theme of the album are pirate themed metal songs. They're symphonic metal songs, and it works. It's really good. There's so many catchy songs on that album, and the best song on it is Master the Hurricane. It's a 7.5-minute song with really catchy chorus, great instrumentals, a great the middle part of the song.
Interlude.
Yeah, the interlude, the thing where in churches they keep doing it over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
Interlude.
Bob.
All right. I actually have a nice. Hopefully, I can get the people back on my side. Dean Martin, That Old Clock on the Wall.
Oh,
I love this song. Me and Shell will have our record night some nights. We just kind of lay in our living room and turn the lights down low and just put a record on. And we got an old Dean Martin record that we listen to. And that's the first song in this one. The Old Clock on the Wall is the first song of the album. And it's just a classic, Dean Martin. You close your eyes and kind of picture yourself being in the old clubs in the 50s and stuff that you kind of wish was around now, but there's no places like that anymore. So kind of that old school, I'm an Isle of Lucy fan, so kind of makes you remind me of that stuff, and just a fun little happy song.
Is Little Old Wine Drinker Me on there?
No. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I don't think it is on that album.
You should look that up by Dean Martin. Great song, too.
Okay. Yeah, I was a Frank Sinatra guy for a long time, but then I started listening to the Dean Martin, and Dean Martin's music just seems to have a lot more variety to it. Sinatra, he kind of, it almost seems like a one kind of song. That's kind of all he does.
Sinatra beat his wife.
Oh, did he? So that's another kind of check against him, I guess. So,
I'm not familiar with any of that old time Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra stuff. I know I'll probably hear it on commercials or anywhere and know it, but if you were to tell me who this dude did it, I'd have no clue.
When the moon hits your eye like a big piece of pie, that's Amore. You heard that in commercials for?
Yep.
That's Dean Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I believe Dean Martin and Krusty the Clown wrote that song, but it ended up infringing on a song he wrote years earlier.
Okay. Nice.
What? Krusty the Clown? Like
He was in a Simpsons episode.
like I don't know.
Bow, are you not aware of who Krusty the Clown is?
But I didn't know if he was being serious that Krusty the Clown and Dean Martin wrote a song, or if it was just a Simpsons episode thing.
Yeah, I bet if you type into YouTube Krusty the Clown estate sale or something, it'll come up.
So, did you think Krusty the Clown was a real person?
No, I knew who Krusty, but I thought like the actor who played Krusty the Clown and Dean Martin wrote that song, and that's where I was going with. I'm like, that don't sound right. I know Krusty the Clown is a cartoon animated figure. I know that much.
Boy, this podcast way out there sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Speak way out there. It's my turn to talk.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Wait, make sure Jason's going to be all right, or Port's going to be all right.
Yeah.
All right. Next, I'm going with I'm sticking with the traditional metal style right now, and the song is called "Worms of the Earth" by Eternal Champion. Once again, these guys are from like the new school of traditional heavy metal. Only got 2 albums out so far, and when I heard their first album, I'm like, holy cow, this is really cool, because not only do they do it in the traditional style, but like the production and how they play sounds like it was actually recorded in the like in the 80s with subpar or equipment, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it sounds good, yet it doesn't. And it's that doesn't make sense. But like the vocals are all just completely drenched in reverb, and it's just got this charm about it that I absolutely love. And they're very unique sounding too. Like the just for example, like their guitar riffs that they play, I'm like, okay, I really can't pinpoint that to any band that they would have taken inspiration from. I mean, it's just kind of a sound of the period. And but this song is from their latest album, which came out in 2020, and that has a little bit better production than it did on the first album, but it's definitely not lacking in the songwriting. It's an album I can listen through front to back without skipping the song, but Worms of the Earth is definitely my favorite on that. So
Nice.
all right, Doo-Doo, what you got next?
My grandfather had a huge influence in my life, and part of that influence was the music that he liked. He liked the 60s and 50s old rock, or not rock and roll, country music. Yeah, not rock and roll. Country music. Your Patsy Clines, your Kitty Wells, your Jim Reeves, your Ray Price. But one of the guys that he loved to listen to the most was Ernest Stubb. And in fact, when, I don't know what year or whatever, but Ernest Stubb came to one of the towns around northern Minnesota here, and him and my grandma and their oldest and her husband and my mom went to see him, and grandma got to shake his hand. She was so excited. But anyways, he had a song that's called "Let's Say Goodbye Like We Said Hello." just kind of with the steel guitar and a little bit of piano in there, and upbeat kind of song. Like I said earlier, you can sing to until, it's all words. The piano and the steel guitar in the background. But yeah, let's say goodbye. Like we said, hello by Ernest Tubb.
Very nice. Ernest Tubb, you said?
Ernest Tubb. Yep. E-R-E. Jason, help me out. E-R.
E-R-N-E-S-T.
And then T-U-B-B. Tubb.
Okay, gotcha. All
You
right.
are really familiar with old time country, aren't you, Tippy?
You never heard Ernest Tubb, Tippy?
What the heck, man? I thought you were worldly.
I think I got some back here. Let me check. I'll definitely have to check it out. All right, Bort.
Well, for my fourth song, we need some Meatloaf in this list. Absolutely Meatloaf, because if you get Meatloaf, you know two things. It's going to be really good, and it's going to be really sweaty.
You definitely don't want dry meatloaf. There's a few harder things to choke down than that.
But my song is actually a cover of a Meatloaf song. It is by the band, I believe it's pronounced Xandria, Xandria. And they do a cover of "I'd Do Anything for Love, but I won't do that." That is really good. They swap the roles around where it's the girl singing most of the song and then the guy comes in at the end, and they do a really good job with that song into a more symphonic metal version. And that's a fun song that I like listening to in the car, rocking out to quite a bit. And so I recommend that one very highly.
That would be interesting. Song where the roles are reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in the original song, is Meatloaf singing to some like princess trying to seduce her, or what?
He's singing to Lita Ford. And,
like trying to hey baby, I love you, or what?
Well,
because I'm saying your version, then it's like a female trying to sing to big fat sweaty Meatloaf and seduce him. So that's kind of what I'm getting at.
I prefer the Dr. Pepper commercial one.
I know that one.
There's a Dr. Pepper commercial that was on Super Bowl years ago where this girlfriend's putting the boyfriend through the ringer, making him go shopping, and her underwear at the laundromat and everything, and he goes through all of it, and then she takes a drink of his Dr. Pepper, and he gets up and runs out of there. That's my version of the song right there.
No, Bob, if you haven't heard the song, take a listen. It's good.
Well, I have. I don't listen to words in songs.
Well, then start. Then you wouldn't have any questions.
Well, I assume you would know the answer, but I guess even with your favorite song, you don't know the answer.
All right, Bob, your next one.
Okay, my next one off Volbeat's newest album, "Servant of the Mind," "Becoming." It's the last couple Volbeat albums have been a little more rock, which have been okay, but I like this song. It's a good metal Volbeat song, so it was nice seeing him come back to that. So that would be my next pick.
Cool. I definitely like me some Volbeat, but I haven't heard the new stuff yet, so.
Yeah, their new album, it's a lot more of a metal album, so I highly recommend their new one.
Right. Should be up my alley then.
There you go.
Okay. For my next one, this is a band, I think they're from Greece. The band is called Beast in Black, and the song is called Cry Out for a Hero. And I've been listening to this band for about 4 years now or so, and this is kind of just like straight up European power metal. But it's also got kind of like a Euro pop sense to it. I mean, the songs are like really basic, very, very simple, intro, verse, chorus, solo, and then a chorus at the end. I mean, it's very formulaic, but it's catchier than the Common Cold, every single song. And they got 2 lead guitarists that can play faster than I can comprehend. I mean, if you want to hear some shredding solos, check out this band, because even their slow songs, they just feel the need to play at a million miles an hour. It's their lead guitar players are absolutely mind-blowingly good. And the singer has probably the coolest name on the planet. His name is Yannis Papadopoulos.
It's only something you'd make up.
I'm not making it up, but the guy is so ridiculously good, and he can sing in so many different styles. So, what are you pointing at?
Got a little somebody in the corner there.
Oh.
Could you say that name one more time?
Yannis Papadopoulos.
Papadopoulos?
Papadopoulos. First name Yannis.
Giannis.
Good name.
Spelled exactly how it sounds.
That's what your
I
parents
couldn't tell you what it sounded like. So,
Yes.
Papadopoulos.
Indeed. Well, that takes care of our fourth. Moving on to the next one, doo-doo.
Let's see. I got One Night Stand by Motorhead. Just because it's Lemmy, and it's a Motorhead song. I like it. Sing to it, rock out to it. Yeah, that's probably the shortest description I got, but it's a Motorhead song. I like, you gotta like Motorhead, I think.
Uh-huh. Indeed, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. All right, Bort.
Number 5 for me. One of my favorite Pearl Jam songs is called "Given to Fly," and the version I'm thinking of specifically, Bob gave me for Christmas one year a Pearl Jam DVD called "Touring Band 2000," and on the album, right before this song came on, Eddie Vedder was. He was doing the song before, and he said, "I don't think I've ever seen this before." He pointed out a lady in the front row that was doing sign language for all the songs. And so then, Mac, you really got a scratch right now? So then he pulled her up onto the stage, and she did the signing for the whole "Given to Fly" song right on stage, and it was just so cool, to watch. And then, the fact that she was even able to understand what Eddie Vedder says is even more impressive. But yeah, it was very cool, and I was very happy when I was pulling my playlist together on YouTube. I found that version of the song from that DVD, so if anybody wants to watch it, they can. My kids are obviously jealous that Bob's kids have been on the episodes.
I like signs going back and forth.
Yep. So that's my number 5.
Do we still have Bob
Here?
Can you hear us, Bob? You're kind of still.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, there you go. You
There
kind
you
of came back from the dead.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
I can hear you guys. It's fine. Everything's been good on that. So,
Okay.
all right, am I up?
Yep, you're up.
I am going also with Doodle on a Motorhead song, "Wacky Crooked Mile." It's a little bit unknown Motorhead song, but yeah. After Lemmy died, I started listening to Motorhead a lot more. Because I think that happens with a lot of people. When somebody dies, you go back and listen to their stuff and be like, man, I wish I'd have listened when they're alive. But yeah, just a good old Motorhead song that has a Motorhead sound to it, but it's not really a well-known one. So that's what I kind of like about it too. Never heard it before, so started listening to it, liked it, and yeah, now it is my favorite Motorhead song.
Nice.
Yep,
Okay.
super nice.
Yeah, I don't think I heard that one, but they do got so much material out there. It's ridiculous. My favorite.
I mean, go on.
I was gonna say my favorite Motorhead song would probably have to be "No Voices in the Sky" from the 1919 album.
Yeah, I don't know if I've heard that.
What is it again? Say it again, please.
"No Voices in the Sky." Very catchy.
Well, Lemmy, I mean, they released so many albums too, and they had a lot of success in Europe because they never really reached a big peak in America. I don't think were they huge over in Europe.
They were big over there.
Not as big as Meatloaf.
Nobody's as big as Meatloaf.
But he sweats them.
Yeah, well, American audiences tend to have terrible taste. So, present company excluded.
I also want to put Common People number 2.
Yeah. What do you got there, Tippy?
I've got from Finland the band Battle Beast, and the song is called "Bastard Son of Odin."
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's first off, the title is absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so is this band. I mean, they're very similar to style to the previous band, Beast in Black. It's very Eurocentric power metal, with lots of lead keyboards, and probably I would have to say my favorite female singer in the metal genre, if not music in general, because this woman, Nura, she has a voice that could just blow out speakers. I mean, when she it's a I don't want to call it. It's not a scream. It's not a high note, but just her belting voice and the power that the vibrato has with that. It's really hard to describe unless you hear it. But yeah, she kind of sounds like Bonnie Tyler on steroids, I guess, is how I would describe it. And all at the same time, she can hit every note. She can also bring it back too, so there's a lot of variety in her voice. But yeah, just yeah, great band. They write very catchy songs, and yeah, check them out.
Does she doesn't do any like death metal vocals, or is it a lot more just a power thing?
No, it's just a very powerful, clean voice.
Okay. I was still surprised, I think, until you told me Arch Enemy, how they have a female vocalist. I was completely thrown out. I had no idea about that before, and then you told me about that, and I'm like, oh, sweet. And I listened, I'm like, that's a female screaming that loud? And man, she can hit crazy death metal vocals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a completely different style, but yeah, definitely. Yeah, Angela Gosco, fantastic in her genre. Yep.
Yeah.
What's the lady's name in Battle Beast?
Oh, it's Finnish, so I can't even. I don't know if you ever tried to read the Finnish language, but it kind of looks like you take those refrigerator magnets that are letters, and you just throw them at the fridge, and whatever sticks, that's what their names are. Gotcha. That's kind of like what the Finnish language looks like. But her first name is Noora. I think it's spelled Noora.
After we get done, I'm gonna look up that Bastard Son of Odin. Sounds good.
That's good. Such a cool name.
I remember the first time I heard the opening lead keyboard line, and I'm like, oh, yeah. You'll know what I'm talking about. All right. All right. Well, we've gone through half our list so far, so let's continue with the second half. Doo-doo.
What was that, Jace?
Nope, nothing.
Okay. After I found out that I couldn't drive truck no more, I went into the office of the last company that I pulled for, and I absolutely hated my boss. I mean, hated him. The only way, like, I drove truck. I was independent. I did what I wanted, but I still got the job done. Well, now all of a sudden I'm in an office, and I got to listen to this schmuck. So the only way that I would feel better about going into work, but I would at a 38-mile drive one way, and I would listen to the song "The Enemy" by Godsmack, and I would just crank it and just think about old bossy boy and just make myself better, feel better that way. But it's a good song. It's a good up your song.
Everyone needs one of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Bort?
My next song is my last cover song, and that is Johnny Cash's version of "Hurt" that the Nine Inch Nails originally performed, and that song is just
Good choice.
heartbreaking. I think the music video for that song is the best music video that's ever been created. I remember a story, I don't know if it was true or not, but I remember back in 2003, right before he died, MTV was doing their Video Music Awards and were thinking of giving him the award for the Music Video of the Year. And he was going to go on stage and accept it if they gave it to him, and it would have been really neat to see Johnny Cash in 2003 in front of the MTV generation. And in the end, they gave it to some generic rap song that nobody ever will remember. At least that's the way I remember the story, because there's no way I'm about to care about what rap song came on there. But yeah, I don't know. I can't remember if that's a true story or not. I seem to remember hearing it somewhere over the years, but yeah, just great song, and yeah, I don't have words for it. It's something you have to experience and feel.
The thing about Johnny Cash is in all his songs, he always put heart into them. He just didn't sing the words. He threw like 100% of what he had into his songs. And when he goes, "I hurt myself today," you could really, feel the loss of his wife a few years earlier. And yeah, it's a good song. Good choice, Bort.
Oh, thank you.
Nice. All right, Bob, what you got?
All right, my next one. I don't know what Doodoo's doing, but he keeps stealing my bands. So I think that Godsmack is my next one too. I got "Let It Out" by Godsmack. It's on their latest album. It's just fun, more of a rock type song. Their whole new album is more of a like a hard rock album. And I enjoyed it. It was something a little bit different. And this song, it just, I don't know, struck a chord with me. I really liked it for some reason, and I highly recommend it to you, you fine gentlemen.
If you weren't laying on a bed, you wouldn't yawn.
I'm sitting up in a bed. Thank you very much.
Just saying.
Okay. All right. My next one is called, the song's called "Evil Dead" by the band Death. Listen to this one a lot lately. Now, this is a classic song. This was like death metal before it was like really death metal. I mean, I guess the band Possessed coined the term death metal, and I think like 1986. And there's a lot of debate. Who was the first death metal band? Was it Possessed or was it Death? Well, even though Possessed released their first full length before Death did, I think Death and Chuck Schuldiner, the band, the main guy in the band, he is. I'm sure a lot of death metal fans are in agreement with me that he is the godfather of death metal, and this their debut album. It's from their debut album, and it's just a scorching ripper from front to back. And even with the song, it's only 3 minutes long. It's got an intro, a total of 2 guitar riffs in the entire song that go back and forth, and one of the most ripping guitar solos I've ever heard. So yeah, and I think this song was originally written back in like 1984. So it's I do consider it way ahead of its time. But
Yeah, because I'd say, was it late 80s or early 90s?
Well, their first album, Scream Bloody Gore, came out in 1987.
Okay.
And then they released a total of 6 albums, and they kind of got like more progressive as they went on. And just kind of, there was a natural evolution with the band. But I love that old school stuff. That's just basic Primal Rage, really. So
Yeah.
that's about all I got for that one.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, Doo-Doo.
All right, there is a Texas, or there's a band that's heavily inspired by like Texas swing and the Mexican, whatever they call it.
Mariachi music?
Yeah, no, not mariachi, but like with accordions and big cowboy hats and stuff. The band is called the Mavericks, and they have a song called "As Long as There's Loving Tonight." It's just good. It's got like trumpets and saxophones and accordions, and I mean, it's really good. Like, oh, crap, I got to do the dishes. Throw that song on, and it gets you through the dishes. You know, you're kind of down stuff. So I call that one my dishwashing song.
What was the band name there?
The Mavericks.
The Mavericks. Thank you.
Yep. Check it out. It's good music.
Well, I have to. I'm building playlists.
You'll like it.
Okay, Bort.
This will be number 7. Number 7 on my list is another Nightwish song. The first song that really hooked me on the symphonic metal genre, and that is the song Ghost River from their Imaginarium album. And just a really catchy chorus is all I can say. And I've listened to that song hundreds of times. Yeah, that's all I got on that one.
Nice.
And I think we talked about this before, but as far as all the Nightwish singers go, isn't Annette your favorite singer from Nightwish?
I think so. I prefer the more. I mean, she doesn't have an alto voice. I mean, she can sing higher, like blanking on their names, Floor and Tarja, yeah. You know, but they tend to go in the more, you know, high soprano range. It feels like, and I just like her style of singing a little better. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, I understand her place compared to the other singers in terms of, you know, I know that she's not that liked, but I'm just, you know, and plus, I guess that was my intro to Nightwish, were her 2 albums, so I'm a little biased on that. I guarantee.
Yeah, I think she just got a lot of flack after, you know, because the fans were so used to Tarja, you know, and her style, and Annette comes in with a different style, even though she's still a good singer. It was just kind of a bit more pop-oriented voice, I thought.
But it worked for the music they were doing.
Yeah, there was definitely a bit of a style shift going from Once to Imaginarium. So
Yeah.
Who sang that Phantom of the Opera song, that version of that Nightwish one?
That was Tarja.
Tarja
Okay.
and Nico.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
Because, yeah, boy, you sent me a YouTube video
She
of...
didn't do the Phantom part? Really? That Phantom of the Opera cover, that I found that on YouTube one day, and yeah, and then I'm like, Matt, have you heard of this band Nightwish? It's like, oh yeah, and yeah, and then it went from there, and yeah, that's a very, very, very good cover.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that live version. I remember buying that DVD back in 2007. And I was blown away back then. This is like pre-YouTube days.
Yeah.
So, yeah, heck yeah, that's awesome. Moving on, Bob, what you got for your 7?
All right, my number 7 is Metallica, and it's actually called The New Song. I call it Death Is Not the End. So they wrote this song in 2006, in the summer of 2006, before their Death Magnetic studio album was released, and they're just trying to toss some stuff out there if they liked it or not, played it for some live crowds. And it has, the main riff is kind of more like a surfer type riff, it seems like, and then it's got a couple other riffs that weren't used on the album, but then a couple more riffs throughout the song that were switched into different songs on the album. But I just like this version. I don't know, I think the riffs fit well together. I like the riffs, and it especially coming off of Saint Anger, coming to this song, it actually felt like an older school Metallica song too, with an actual Kirk Hammett solo in there, and it was, I think, 7.5 minutes long of actually good mixture of songs, as opposed to just Saint Anger, the 7-8 minute songs. They just pretty much put the first only 2 or 3 riffs and just kept repeating them over and over. So it was kind of a sigh of relief in my mind too. So yeah, Metallica, looking it up online, it'll either be The New Song or Death Is Not the End.
Nice. Okay. Well, my next one is by a band called Caladan Brood, and the song is called Wild Autumn Wind. Now, when I mentioned before that 3 of the bands on here have the same singer, this would be the second one. And the style of this band is kind of it's kind of like black metal mixed with folk music. And they only have one album, and it's basically the whole album's a tribute to the band Summoning. And in fact, they do 2 Summoning covers. There's 8 songs on the album, and it's 90 minutes long. And this song, I think, is like 15 minutes long, but they're just all these, just every single one is just a grand epic. And it's also done in the Summoning style, where it's like 90s lo-fi production black metal, which I do kind of enjoy. It depends on the songwriting, but I can handle that style of lo-fi black metal music. But in this band, the singer goes from like the raspy kind of black metal screams and then goes into his actual singing voice, which is like a very rich baritone type of style. And yeah, it's every song is just a complete journey. Kind of just imagine a wizard with a beard down to his waist walking through the mountains. It's very enjoyable for me. I put this stuff on if I'm doing very monotonous work at my job. So
Nice.
Yep. Wild Autumn Wind by Caladan Brood.
It's basically Gandalf with a guitar.
Kinda. And the band I mentioned, Summoning, that I said that this band is basically a tribute to. Like, all their songs are Lord of the Rings themed.
Is Summoning black metal too?
Yes. Like black metal infused with folk music. Like, there's lots of keyboards and pianos and flutes and acoustic guitars and stuff like that mixed in there. So
Nice.
all right. We've got on to our top 3 here, or our last 3 anyways. Doo-doo?
Okay, there was a gentleman from Texas who was a guitar player. And the way the story goes is one night he had a dream where he was playing guitar and he looked down, and below the main body of the guitar, there was a steel guitar underneath it. So he got up, he drew plans for it, and he actually made one. He named it the Get Steel. His name is Junior Brown. And I've actually seen him live a couple times. He's a phenomenal guitar player. But he had a couple of hits with like mainstream Nashville. But of course, he wasn't, the typical tight jeans, tight shirt type guy. So he didn't make it very far. But he went back to Austin, Texas, and Fort Worth, Texas, and has a huge following of fans down there. And one of my favorite songs he has is called Party Lights, and basically about going to a party and getting pulled over by those cops. And just Tippy with your guitar playing and stuff. You know who this guy is?
Junior Brown. For some reason, the name sounds familiar.
Okay, well, look it up on YouTube. There's a couple good songs on there, but just the way he plays the guitar, he'll be picking out on the guitar. And then in his breast pocket, always wears a 3-piece suit. In his breast pocket, he'll have whatever that piece of metal is called that you use for a steel guitar. He'll have that right there. So he'll put the pick in there and grab that piece of metal, play the steel guitar, put it back, grab the pick, keep playing guitar. I mean, it's phenomenal to watch. It's good stuff. So, Party Lights, Junior Brown.
Doo-doo, I'd be surprised if Tippy knew who Johnny Cash was.
Well, maybe Johnny Cash.
I may live under a rock, but it's not that large. Okay, take the attention off of me. Bort.
Yes, focus on me. So while the focus is on me, I want to talk about suicide. I needed.
This took a dark turn.
I needed an Avenged Sevenfold song on my list. Bob opened. Really, Avenged Sevenfold was my first real power metal band experience. I heard, it was about 2005. I heard Backcountry on the radio and was kind of getting hooked on that. And then Bob came over with the album. He said, "Let me show you the song "Strength of the World." And he said it's like a movie soundtrack in a metal form, and it was awesome. That got me into Avenged Sevenfold. I bought all their albums, and the song that I'm picking is "I Won't See You Tonight," part 1. It's the first part's 9 minutes, and the second part I don't really care for. It's 4 minutes, but it's dark, but it is a very fun song to sing with, and it's the song has a lot of parts and goes a lot of different ways, and it's just a really well done song for somebody who doesn't care about the words of the song like me. But, I understand that can be a really dark and hard song for people who have had those type of issues. And I'm assuming that's probably where they were coming from when they wrote that. Personal experience, or a friend or something like that. But, so it's fun to say that a song that's that dark is on my list, but I just like the song. So Bob, bring it back up a little bit.
All right. So my next one is Dream Theater, In the Name of God. Now, I was never a huge Dream Theater fan.
Wait.
I bought their
Could you say that name again? What?
Dream Theater.
Oh, Dream Theater. Okay.
Yeah, In the Name of God. And John Petrucci, is that how you say his name? Petrucci?
Petrucci, I think. Yeah.
Richard, well, you listen to this, and I honestly believe he is probably like the best guitar player I've ever heard. He's so good, so complex. And you listen to him live, 'cause there's a live version of it too, and every note's spot on. And it really makes me just respect how good a guitar player can do. Dream Theater did probably 20 years ago, they did a concert where they covered the entire Master Puppets album, and his guitar playing on that, it's like he's not even trying, and he's just destroying every solo, hitting every note perfectly. So it just shows how good at music he is. But then the band itself, they got keyboards, which I've never been like a big keyboard guy in metal, but with him, with how it's used in the song, it's just phenomenal. And the guitar riffs in this song are just incredible. So, yeah, highly recommend this song. Especially Board, I think you might really like this one too if you haven't listened to it before. I think you really would like it.
You suggested it to me once before. I have no memory of it.
Sweet.
I've had a couple people suggest Dream Theater to me, and I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan on a lot of their stuff just because I think you gotta really dedicate yourself to listen to them. They don't really have a lot of songs that put it in and right away within the first 5 seconds have a riff that's gonna blow you away. There's a very slow burn. And once you get through it, then you can come across some really good songs. I've got a few really good songs I like of theirs. I'm sure there's going to be more if I take more time to listen to them.
Yeah, it can be like that with a lot of progressive music. It's not the easiest style to get into because it changes so much, But I actually
time changes and
I did actually recently watch a little Dream Theater documentary, and if I could describe that band in one word, it would be professional. I mean, those guys are just out of this world good at what they do.
Well, and I didn't know they must have like just this little following that just is like super dedicated to them. Because here in interviews and with that John Petrucci too, he'll talk about how in depth they go over their set lists, and they'll make sure they go, the last time they played the city, they go through and make sure the set list is very different than the last time because the fans are expecting different stuff. And that level of professionalism that's what a musician is about, being that good at what they do. And just sticking to it and taking those little fine details. And what are you doing?
Plugging in my phone.
No. So, got a little warthog next to me. So, So, anyways, that's my 8th pick.
Okay, sounds good. All right, mine is it's a bit of a newer song. It's by the band Glacier, and the song is called Eldest and Truest. Now, this band has been around since like 1984 or the early 80s, but they only released their first full-length debut a couple years ago. They've got some like demos and EPs and stuff like that from the 80s, but this song the lyric video for it just popped up in my YouTube feed one day. I listened to it, and even though it's been like 2 years, I must listen to the song at least once a week while I'm driving. It's just, there's not really much to say about it, except it's just a good, well-written, well-recorded, well-produced traditional metal song. I think it's kind of between traditional metal and maybe American power metal, but That's about all I have to say about that one. So
Nice.
So yeah, that one sounds interesting. I'll definitely have to listen to that one.
I think you'll like it, Bob. I think Hammerfall. It doesn't sound like Hammerfall, but maybe the singer will remind you of Hammerfall.
Okay. I like me some Hammerfall.
Oh, who doesn't?
The person on the other end of the hammer.
Indeed. So,
So stupid.
Doo-doo, hammer us with your number 9 pick.
Another old song by an old guy who died. Sorry. Let me try that again. Another old song by another old guy who died in an airplane crash. Old country singer Jim Reeves. He died in an airplane crash with Kitty Wells. This guy had a great voice, real deep, almost baritone, or bass even. Sweet songs to sing along to. This one I like listening to. It's called Little Old Dime. It's your typical old, my girlfriend left me and I'm trying to find her and she took my dog and all that stuff. But that's back when you had to pay dimes to use public telephones. And anyways, yeah, he's got a voice that it's real easy to sing to. He does a couple Christmas songs, a couple Christmas songs that are real cool, and just one of those easy to sing to. Like, we have an uncle, Dave, that has a voice like he had, where it's just real deep, and when they talk, you usually listen type of voice. So yeah, Jim Reeves, A Little Old Dime, good song.
Thank you. Bort.
Well, considering what a huge part of Bob's and Tippy's and my life this was, it would be a shame if we didn't put at least one pro wrestling entrance theme onto the list. And taking you guys, yes.
Doink the Clown.
No, not Doink. The Evil Doink song, though. That's a good one.
Okay.
The old theme was awesome. The original Doink theme was awesome.
Yeah,
The
that was a good
one. But Bob and I, our mom got a computer in 1995, and we would go to these websites to download wrestling themes. They would be, 3 megabyte themes and would take, an hour and a half to download on our dial-up internet. And then we would have to hold a tape recorder up to the computer speakers to record the music from the computer to a cassette tape.
Mm-hmm.
And we would play these all the time. Some of them would be just horrible quality, and you wouldn't know until you downloaded it.
Yeah.
It's just a different world, because today, whenever there's a new wrestler, then immediately their theme song is posted on YouTube by WWE or AEW the next day. So it's kids don't know how good they got it.
I know.
So my pick for my song is from AEW. It's Sting's theme called Arrival. And it's a very good, kind of starts with an organ, then breaks into just a heavy guitar theme. But I finish every single one of my runs that I do, as I've been training for the Toughest Mudder, hopefully Worlds. I finish every single run playing this theme song, and so it's a good song, and Sting in particular just kind of admires me, or I admire him because it scares me. Right?
We all admire you, Jace. I mean, Bort.
I mean, I admire him so much. You know, he's 63 years old, and he's still going out there with, you know, after a career-ending neck injury back in 2015, and now it's 2022. He comes back. He's diving off of the highest things he can find and trying to hang with all these young kids in the ring with him, and is somehow pulling it off. And it just inspires me so much to think, my gosh, if he's 63 years old with a neck that shouldn't even be able to do much of anything, and he's performing at this high level and looking like he's having the time of his life, why am I sitting here in my room depressed about a broken shoulder that I should be able to bounce back from no problem? You know, why can't I push myself to get to the next mileage goal of my races? You know, I'm 39. I should be able to do everything that he can do. Yet I watch him and I'm like, man, I got nothing on him, you know? And it's so fun to watch him. And, you know, even if, I mean, I can't say even if you don't like wrestling, you would be impressed by it, but I mean, it's coming from somebody who, you know, all of us have seen Sting since, you know, the late 80s, and, you know, if you watch him nowadays, you can't help but just go, wow, you know? And so, yeah, it really inspires me, and so that song is my kind of like go-to finish my run anthem to believe in myself.
Nice.
Thank
Nice,
you for
nice,
that.
nice.
Bob?
Alrighty, so I'm trying to get the year it came out. So in 2004, whatever, early 2000s, band Dream Quest. They only had a couple albums out. They're actually, I think, a Christian metal band, and they play a song on that album called The 11th Hour, and that's just a pure, just thrash power metal type song. One of the coolest guitar solos you'll ever hear in it. And I love it because it's a band that not many people have really heard of. So that's part of the reason I think I like it so much. But yeah, Dream Quest, The 11th Hour, just listen to it, and that's about all I got for that one.
Yeah,
I think I forwarded that one over to you before. Have you heard of Dream Quest before I told you about them, Tippy?
I must have, but I mean, just from the name alone, you can tell that's a power metal band right there.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, the solo in that song is such a good guitar solo. Good harmony in there, and yeah, highly recommend. It's a 5-6 minute song. Just highly recommend. Just sit and listen to it and see what you think.
Cool. Well, we'll definitely be checking that out. All right. My ninth pick. This is a black metal band from Poland, and I'm gonna need to spell this out for you, Jace. All right. It's pronounced Mgła, but it's spelled M-G-L-A. And the song is Age of Excuse 2. This band, with every release, all their songs are named after the album title in sequential order. So you got Age of Excuse 1, Age of Excuse 2, yada, yada, yada. Every single release they do. But if anybody was looking to get into black metal, I would probably recommend this band first because they're a little easier to listen to than a lot of traditional black metal out there, because they do have a pretty good production, at least on the last few albums they have. And yes, what really makes them stand out is their drummer, because the songs themselves are fairly simple, and it can be pretty repetitive at times, but the drummer has such a great sense of dynamics that you can hear one part of the song, but they'll be playing the same riff in the other song. It'll sound completely different. And even through like slugging through like an 8-minute long song, like I don't find it to get either boring or repetitive at all. But as far as black metal goes, I would say that's my favorite band in that particular subgenre these days. So, and I was debating on which song to do, but I would have to do Age of Excuse too. So
Awesome.
Nice.
All right. Well, we're getting to the end of our lists here. What would be your number 10 song? Doo-doo? Or
Oh.
Bob?
Would we? I remember we did this the last couple ones. You want to do any honorable mentions like that barely made it, or are we running low on time here?
We can do an honorable mention. Just I don't know. Everybody wants to do a brief one or two or whatever.
Okay, you want my number one, or you want an honorable mention?
Oh, let's do an honorable mention first.
All right, honorable mention: Johnny Cash from the Folsom Prison album. When he went into the prison, he was having fun with the inmates in the crowd and stuff, and he come out with a song called "Egg Sucking Dog," and it's just, I don't know. It's one of them doing dishes songs again, where you just busy yourself and sing the words. So yeah, "Egg Sucking Dog" by Johnny Cash.
What about you, Bort?
Love Bearing Storm by Visions of Atlantis. They have two versions. The second one with their new singer, Clementine Delaney, I think it is, or something like that. The new version's the better of the two.
Right on. Bob?
So I Party Hard by Andrew WK. I like that song. So it's a good song for running. I like that one. And then just I didn't have any Offspring or Ice Earth in here. The Trapped Under Ice cover that one Arnold Schwarzenegger death metal guy did.
Oh, Austrian Death Machine.
Yeah. The guy, he sings black metal, but then he does an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation during it. Like, I can't feel my call. And he's screaming it during the song. And it's just funny. And then I had to do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tippy.
Oh, I remember when I showed you that, you were just just beside yourself about that.
I know. Oh, it's funny. And then I had to do an honorable mention. I have an entire album of Tippy Tater Alligator songs that he gave me, original songs that he has written. And I found my original iPod that has all those songs on there, and I was listening to them. And they're all super good songs. But one especially, that one where you impersonate Axl Rose, kind of, and do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
I'll find a way to send it to the R2 guys for it. It's hilarious. So those are my honorable mentions.
Oh god. Okay. All right. Yes, my honorable mention one is it almost made the list. That'd be Plateau of the Ages by Egalock. And Egalock's hard to describe. They kind of got their own style. It's very can be atmospheric, can be folky, kind of acoustic, but then you sprinkle a little black metal in there, and it's the perfect music to listen to while you're walking through the woods after all the leaves have fallen. So
that's a very specific time to listen to that song, but
I plan on doing that, so thanks.
Yes, I'm going to now.
This song is good from October 24th to November 3rd.
No other time.
In
After
northern
leaves fall, before the snow comes.
Boy. Has there ever been any dark metal Christmas albums?
Okay, I got one. Oh man. Sauron.
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee did 2 metal Christmas albums.
Who? Who again? Sorry.
Christopher Lee, the guy who played Sauron in Lord of the Rings.
Saruman.
Yeah.
Oh, Saruman. I'm sorry, Saruman.
Saruman. Yep.
Yeah, he did 2 metal Christmas albums.
Really?
Yes.
And also Rob Halford from Judas Priest released a whole Christmas album too.
Okay.
Did he?
Yep. And also,
Wow.
well, more recently, John Schaefer and Matt Barlow from Iced Earth did a 4-song Christmas album.
I've heard that one.
Yeah.
What was that, pre or post Capital?
Oh, that was pre-Capital.
Okay, because I'm sure Matt Barlow probably wouldn't have done much
But
right now.
I ordered that in the summer of 2020 because it was a crowd-funded album, and then I
Okay.
didn't receive it till post-Capital, which is kind of a
So know that your money went to pay for his legal defense funds.
well, hopefully it did something.
Mm-hmm.
At least it paid for the album, and I got my name written down in a credit in the liner notes. So
Good.
all right, with that out of the way, let's go to our number 1 or number 10 or our last song here, dude.
All right. I prefer to think of this as a number 1. Thank you. You were there. It was my first ever Metallica concert. I've had everybody has a Black Album. I mean, I've had it forever, listened to it for a long time, but I was a latecomer when it came to Metallica, to understand the songs and listen to the albums and stuff. And I was going to go to my first Metallica concert with Tippy and Bob. Fort was going to drive us. And evidently on 93X or something, they were some poll that you could pick from 3 songs and they would have Metallica would play it. And one of the songs was Harbinger of Sorrow, and I'd never heard of it. But one of the songs I had was on there, so I remember logging on and voting for that. And then we get there and they played Harbinger of Sorrow, and I just fell in love. And it is my favorite Metallica song. I don't know. I just get so happy when I listen to it. So that's my number 1.
Very good. Thank you for your list, Dudu.
Thank you for listening.
Absolutely. Bort, what are you going to finish this off with?
Well, mine, I kind of have went through in album order. So this would be my mixtape closing song. And this song is from a band by the name of Hurt. They released their first album in 2006, and it's one of my favorite albums ever. It's just raw. There'll just be times where it's just the guy singing with just a very, very little bit of guitar playing with it, and it's just it does so much with the silence in the music, so much, and then it can go from there to just hit you over the head, powerful, all within the same song, and then go back. And that album, just top to bottom, is just unbelievable songs. And so I'm picking, for my pick would be the final song from the album, which is called House Carpenter. And it is about a 6.5 minute song. There's one of those weird things CDs used to do where there's a 2-minute gap at the end, and then they put a little bit more on to make it a 9-minute song. But it's a 6.5 minute song, and it hits everything I just talked about with them in the one song, and it just keeps building and building and building, and it's just so powerful. And I just want to say, that album was so good, and it's just I get depressed when I think about that band, because their first album was just amazing. Their first album, by the way, was called Volume 1. Their second album was called Volume 2, and it wasn't quite as good. And then their third album was barely recognizable, and their fourth album was just garbage, and then they're done, you know. And then I remember seeing the singer was like trying to get people on Facebook to crowdfund a warehouse to be a house for him, you know. And it's just like, man, oh man, what could have been, you know, is just going to be, you know, a band that I don't know if, you know, it's a band that's going to be forgotten to time, you know. And it's too bad because, I mean, you know, I talked about how that Visions of Atlantis album was the best that I've heard in a long time. I mean, but this Hurt Volume 1 is what I would have put as my top album of all time, and probably would still be there. So yeah, Hurt House Carpenter.
Okay, sounds good. No, I'm really sorry for this, Jason, because we've been doing so good, but
I think he has to use the pate.
Okay. I was gonna say, I'm sitting here, and I got you and Tippy wearing your Tough Mudder shirts.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm one cheesesteak away from diabetes. So I feel really, really low about myself right now because you guys are in such rugged shape. Go ahead, Doo-Doo. What?
I am the poster boy for diabetes.
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 Diabetes. That's...
I don't think I'm going to edit this one out.
I would.
No?
Let's keep talking.
I mean,
why not?
If I do, I'm gonna make
I wouldn't. Leave it in there.
Dude, we just solved all the world's problems when you were gone, so I feel sorry for you.
Twice.
I'm sorry.
I mean, your reaction to my song, I'm just pouring my heart out, telling you about this band, and then you're just like,
You had to go throw up. It was so bad.
shut up, I'm leaving.
I'm so sorry, but I literally could not be here
Hold it
for 2
anymore?
seconds longer. I almost didn't make it.
That's
Do you have
funny.
any beer
Well,
bottles?
it's bad thing about sitting in the truck here. Goodness.
Don't you have any of these laying around?
You can take a break and do it that way. I'm good. I'm good with that.
Can you imagine I'm talking or Bob's talking?
What's that noise? And then he'll get him mixed up, the bottles mixed up when he's taking a drink.
Then you hear it. Oh, dang it.
Oh, crap. I need some carpet cleaner now.
Ugh. All right, I guess I'm up, right?
You're up.
All right, Bob.
All right, my last one's a weird one. It's a Beatles kind of cover. I'm not a Beatles fan. This one got brought up. This one got brought up to me actually by my buddy at work. And he said that
Song and make it better. Sorry, go ahead.
like, what are you doing? No, it's Well, My Guitar Gently Weeps. They did a cover at, I think it was George Harrison. He died, right? I think it was at his like tribute concert, and
Yeah,
they
he
had
died.
Tom Petty and Prince on there, and Prince completely stole the whole show on this. He came out during the concert. He was dressed like some, mafia hitman guy. Looked really, really sharp dressing, and I never knew he actually like played instruments because I never knew anything about Prince. And seeing him just go up there and destroy the guitar solo on that song, it was all improvised, and he did such an awesome job with it. And there's so much heart and soul into that music that they all did that evening. And it was for that tribute show too, and just everything thrown in together just made it absolutely incredible. So if you guys haven't seen it before, if you don't like Prince, give it a shot. It's 5 minutes of your life, and it is phenomenal.
So, but I was having problems following it. The song name is Well, My Guitar Gently Weaves.
Weeps.
Weeps.
Blow My Guitar Gently Weeps.
And that's a cover by Tom Petty and Prince.
Just if you're going on YouTube, just Blow My Guitar Gently Weeps Prince. Just do that, and then it'll come up with the live version of it. I've never listened to the Beatles version. I don't know what it sounds like. I just know I really like that, and I know it's a cover of a Beatles song. So, Blow My Guitar Gently Weeps and it's got Prince in there.
I would consider this my top pick. It's probably currently my favorite song from my favorite album, and the band is called Gallow Braid, and the song is Ashen Eidolon, and that is spelled.
I got it.
I'll wait until the test.
I got it. I played Final Fantasy.
Okay. All right. This is about another 15-minute long song. Third song by the same singer, but on this album he does all the singing, plays all the instruments except for drums. I think his brother's playing drums on the album, and then there's guest female vocals on it too. But now this song is best played, or this whole album is best played while walking through the woods between September 15th to October 23rd. Because
what's the temperature outside gonna be?
I would say between 45 and 55 is probably the best temperature to enjoy this album at.
Now, how about like trees around you? Should you have like birch trees around you, pine trees, evergreens?
I would say either a combination of birch, oak, aspen,
Okay.
and maple. And actually, one of the 4 songs of this album is called Oak and Aspen. So
Perfect. Perfect.
That's funny.
yeah, it's more. This is another weird combination of like traditional metal. It has some folk elements too, and then of course black metal style vocals combined with and the singer does his clean baritone style that I mentioned before, and once again female vocals too. The album's 40 minutes long. It's only 4 songs, but only 2 of those songs are like little 4-minute instrumentals, so like I said, it's currently my favorite musical experience, and I actually was able to just get this album on vinyl this last winter because they did a re-release of it, and I was able to swap out probably one of the few remaining copies because they didn't print many of them there. So that is my last.
Are you a big believer in vinyl versus CD or digital? Like vinyl sounds better? Because I know some people are diehards with that.
I'm not a diehard. I kind of like collecting vinyl for the novelty, but there is definitely a different sound, especially if you're wearing headphones, you know. But
I got a quick, totally kind of moving off of what we're doing here, but not really. That website that you had where you play guitar, what was the name of that again on YouTube?
Mustard Metal Tracks.
Okay, and on that Mustard Metal Track. Okay, and then on that site or on that channel, you played a song, but it was like a polka.
Oh,
And I'm lazy and I don't want to go back and look at it at Mustard Metal Tracks.
yeah, it's one of the earlier songs they did. I think it's pronounced Ivian Polka or something by Korpiklani. Another Finnish band, which titles are about impossible to pronounce correctly.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and look at that one again. It was pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's one of the earlier songs I did. Yeah.
Okay.
On your Mustard Metal Tracks, do you have our Cataclysmic Death Sauce and Mustard on the Rocks on there?
I do have the Mustard on the Rocks. That's the very first song. If you go all the way to the end.
Okay.
Because that was from like 2010, and then the next video immediately skips up to 2019. So.
Okay. I only did a video for Cataclysmic Death Sauce too, but I have no clue where that went.
I don't know where that ended up either.
I have the song on my iPad or iPod, but I don't have the video.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, it posted it to Facebook years back. Like back like 2009 or whenever we did that. But yeah, but I don't have the Facebook machine anymore, so I couldn't look it up.
And speaking of songs that were a collaboration between cousins or whatever, I wish there was a way we could have got a hold of that song that Bort and Bob and I did where we sang Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer for our grandma that one year. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That was some good stuff. And then we could have had Tippy put a guitar solo to it. That would have been, we'd have been on our way to freaking fame and riches.
Well, I did almost put Tom Green's "The Bum Bum" song on here too. My grandma loved when I sang that during karaoke.
Gosh, you're right. Grandma did love that.
Oh, she loved it.
Oh, that's way too funny.
Well, awesome. This was a lot of fun. I like this one.
Yeah, indeed. We've been going for over an hour and a half here. So, yeah, next week it will be Bob's turn, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Are we thinking of anything? Or?
Yes. So I thought it was going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to talk to Bort a little bit before, because I know he likes making tournaments. I think what I'm going to do, I don't know how many people are going to be involved, but I think it's going to be all of us. I'm going to design a tournament of action movie stars, and we're going to see who is the best action movie star by putting them against each other. So we'll have a tournament of, like, for example, this guy versus this guy. Who do you guys think will win? And then we'll keep going through the tournament through the whole way. And then we'll see who will win it on the end. That sound like it'd be something you'd be entertained in doing?
Yes, it does. It does. So we'd all, like, what? Just agree, or we'd all take votes, or what?
Yeah, so I think we'd all just kind of do more of a vote, like talk together. Okay, we had these two guys. What do you think? We just kind of have a roundtable discussion and then just keep doing it throughout the thing and then see at the end who's the winner.
Okay. I did do a tournament like that back in the early days of Facebook, and I called it the Fight to the Death tournament.
Okay.
Where I did the same concept where we put everyone together like that, and got to be a big debate right away because I put Batman in the tournament. And like, well, Batman, I'm like, Batman doesn't kill, so he's going to lose automatically.
Right, that's kind of what I was thinking, just a little bit more of a, here's a start, and let's kind of go through the whole thing together and get the answers kind of together.
Okay,
cool. I look forward to that.
Okay. All right, cool. So that's what I got for next week.
Tippy, good job. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yep, thank you guys. This was a lot of fun. I can't wait to listen to some of your guys' picks too once the video gets posted. And
I'm excited for this.
Time to listen to it. So, all right. Well, we've been going for well over an hour and a half here, so I think we can safely wrap up. Has anybody got any parting words?
Bye.
Bye.
No.
Thank you.